Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like we have information about what studio will be doing future Tomb Raider games and Deus Ex games. And some people who bought a CyberPunk 2077 bundle will be getting a refund. We have those topics and more to cover, but before we get started, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, and we can keep you up to date with gaming news. Now let's get started. First, if you remember back in May, we had the announcement that Embracer Group was going to acquire a large part of Square Enix's Western development arm. And this included Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal. And then just last week, the deal was finalized, and it looks like we're getting some IPs assigned to different studios. We have a headline here from VGC. Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal officially take control of Tomb Raider and Deus Ex. So these announcements came in the form of terms of service agreements that are on the various websites. And in the article, they have the terms of service from Crystal Dynamics. It says, "We are excited to inform you that Crystal Dynamics has taken control of several game franchises, including Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain, from the game's previous owner, Square Enix Limited. As a result of this change, Crystal Dynamics, or its affiliate, is now the owner of these games and the controller of the gameplay and personal data related to them." And then they had a link to the terms of service and privacy notice in relative to these games. And likewise, Deus Ex and Thief developer Eidos Montreal has also updated their terms of service and privacy notice. And these decisions make complete sense considering the vast history of both of these companies with their respective titles. Next, I haven't really talked about CyberPunk 2077 in a while, and they did have an expansion that got announced last week. And I didn't cover it here, but there were things like Keanu Reeves revising his role, and there were other details about what was in the expansion. But since the announcement came out, there were a few perhaps controversial aspects that I wanted to take a look at here. So this is coming from the official website for CyberPunk. It says, "Today we've released the Edgerunners update. Moving forward, we've decided to focus our attention and resources on the new gen, not current gen, I guess that's what we're calling it now, but the new gen version of CyberPunk 2077, so we can further develop and upgrade the game on those consoles and PC. The game will continue to run on previous gen consoles, and we will continue to provide technical support. But patch 1.6 is the last major update to be released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So in essence, they're pretty much abandoning the game on previous gen platforms. I'm imagining if there's any patches that you get, it may be just some critical based ones, and you're not going to get any kind of feature updates. Now, to go along with no longer getting any more updates, the announcement for the expansion pack called Phantom Liberty had this caveat. It says, "Important, owners of the Xbox One X CyberPunk 2077 Limited Edition bundle will receive a reimbursement for the expansion in the form of Microsoft Store credits. Please stay tuned for more details about this procedure." Now, if you're not familiar with this bundle, here's a look at it on Amazon as it sat yesterday. And this was an Xbox One X themed after Cyberpunk 2077. And you can see that I've highlighted here that you were supposed to get the first expansion for free, but since the game is being abandoned on previous gen consoles, that's no longer going to be available. Now, there's not been an announcement of how much of a store credit you're going to get. I'm guessing they probably will just credit people whatever the cost of the expansion is, but who knows just yet. But I'm guessing, given all the issues Cyberpunk 2077 had with the Xbox One as well as the PS4, I'm guessing that CD Projekt Red is just ready to cut their loss on that. And finally, we have the Famitsu Sales numbers coming out of Japan. And looking at the software side, we've got a few new entries here. Coming in first, we have the Switch version of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, and neither the Xbox or PlayStation versions of this game came in the top 10, which is kind of interesting. But then at number 2, we have a PS4 game, Earth Defense Force 6, and then at 3, we see Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again. And then for the Switch at number 4, we have another new entry, Made in Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness. And then the 5th entry for the PlayStation 5 is another new one, which is Last of Us Part 1, followed by Nintendo Switch Sports, and then Minecraft, and then SD Gundam Battle Alliance, and then the PS4 version of Made in Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness, and then in 10th we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I do find it kind of interesting that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure came in number 1 on the Switch, but the other 2 versions didn't make it. But when you look at Made in Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness, the Switch version came in at number 4, and the PS4 version came in at number 9. And I would imagine when they release the top 20 numbers over the weekend, we probably will see both the PlayStation and Xbox versions of JoJo make it into that top 20. And let's take a look at the hardware sales now. We've got the Switch OLED and the regular Switch in the top 2 spots, followed by the PlayStation 5, and then the Switch Lite at number 4. And then the Xbox Series X, and after that PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, and finally Xbox Series S at number 7, and that's all of the latest gen consoles. And overall, most of the console numbers are down, except for the Switch OLED model, which is probably boosted by that Splatoon 3 version. And that's all we have for today. Did anything we cover catch your attention? Handing over Tomb Raider and Deus Ex to Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal seems like a pretty safe move, but let me know what you think. And did you or anyone you know pick up one of those CyberPunk 2077 bundles of the Xbox One X and now won't be able to use this latest expansion when it comes out? Drop a comment about those topics or anything else we covered today. And on a quick side note, I didn't want to add this as a separate news item, but obviously with the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, we will most likely see a big media frenzy next week, so that rumored direct could get moved back internally. Now remember, there's not been any official announcement of that yet, so no reason to get upset about a rumored direct that rumored to be moved back that we haven't had an announcement about yet. But at any rate, have a good weekend and be good.